This one's from Mark Carroll. A pick has 3 different angles in which it can be held. Discuss the best way or angles to hold a pick for the best and fastest alternate picking.
The assumption is that the pick, or with your pick, you have 3 different angles that you can pick with. And Brock, you said the question was, what's the best picking angle for fast alternate picking?
Yeah, he wants you to discuss the different angles, the best angles to hold the pick for different, I guess, picking styles or alternate picking.
Okay, so basically, what's the best way to hold the pick, or what's the best angle, really, more specifically, to hold the pick to be able to pick faster? Essentially, I think that's what we're getting at here. So first of all, let's be clear about something, that in this question, it was assumed that there are 3 different picking angles. Well, Brock, how many degrees does a circle have in it?
360 at least.
And how many different ways can you divide 1 degree? How many times can you divide 1 degree in half?
I would say an infinite amount.
Infinity. Right. Okay. The pick is flat, right? The pick is 2-dimensional. I mean, technically it's 3-dimensional, but we can just say it's 2-dimensional, right? So if I have my pick flat on a string, how many degrees can I rotate the pick before it gets flat again?
180.
180 degrees. And anywhere in between that 180 degrees, how many different variations can I have? How many different ways can I half the degrees that I'm turning? There's an infinite range.
Mm-hmm.
There's a spectrum, right? I have 180 degrees that I can turn the pick. Okay, so first of all, there's not only 3 ways to hold the pick, or there's not only 3 ways to angle the pick. There's literally an infinite number of ways, or an infinite number of angles to to angle the pick within 180 degrees. Okay, so you can angle it this way, you can angle it this way, this way, this way, this way. So it exists on a spectrum. Now let's just talk about something that's a general principle of physics. Everybody loves physics, right? The pick is flat on 2 sides, and it's very thin and round on this side. Now, in general, if I'm trying to pick a string, if I put the flat side of the pick on the string, because it's flat, because there's a lot of surface area, it requires a lot of force to pick through the string. And then when I do that, I pick it really hard and it sounds really harsh, right? But if I angle the pick a little bit, what happens is now the edge of the pick is, in a sense, slicing through the string. And it's a lot easier for my pick actually to go through all of the strings at an angle like that. So the point is, there's not a best way, or there's not a perfect way, or there's not a predetermined perfect angle to turn your pick. You just need to think about, well, if my pick is flat and I'm trying to do alternate picking or economy picking or any kind of picking, and my pick is flat against the strings, it's going to be harder to pick. And because it's going to be harder to pick, it's going to slow you down and you won't be able to pick as fast. So the goal is to start angling your pick. If I have my pick flat, the goal is to start angling your pick a little bit so that it starts to slice through the strings as you pick. Now, what I would do is go to the extremes and then find a sweet spot. What I mean is start with your pick flat on the strings, see how that feels. It's probably going to feel really bad because it's hard to pick through the strings with your pick flat. So start to angle it a little bit. Now, let's say you're playing a pattern. It doesn't really matter what you're doing with your left hand as long as you're playing across all of the strings. You can even just play like this if you want to. You don't have to do anything with your fretting hand. But start to angle it a little bit and then play whatever you're going to play and see how that feels. Then angle it a little bit more, see how that feels. If I angle it too much, look where my elbow's going. Look where my elbow and my shoulder's going. I mean, that's just, that's going to get ridiculous and uncomfortable, right? So you're not going to go that far. That's just an extreme. So go to the extreme, see where it feels. There's going to be a sweet spot where it feels bad at first when the pick is perfectly flat, and it's going to start to feel a little better. You might find a sweet spot there, but go all the way to the extreme to where it feels uncomfortable again. And then go back and forth until you dial it in to that perfect little sweet spot. First of all, that's how to find the picking angle that will allow you to play the fastest for whatever it is that you're trying to play. Part of this is it depends on what you're trying to play, right? But the other part is I don't want you to think so much about how you're moving your hand or what you're doing or what the angle is or what the square root of 5 is. You don't need to be thinking while you're doing that. At first, think about it and try to practice it to find a general picking angle that will work for you, and then just play the guitar. Just play and play and play because you'll get used to it, and then over time, the pick just becomes a part of your fingers. And yes, everybody still drops picks, even people who've been playing for 60 years, right? Everybody does it. It's not just you, I promise. But if you just play and just focus on playing, the picking angle will take care of itself. As long as you're aware of the fundamentals and you kind of find a little sweet spot, then just play, try to relax, try to play comfortably, and over time, you're going to find your own sweet spot. It's going to feel perfectly comfortable, and you'll be able to play faster and faster.
Yeah, we've had some students who have been playing guitar for 20 years, and just a tiny little tweak to how they hold their guitar pick has made the difference. So, but yeah, I think it's something you experiment with and you play around with, and you find what works best for you.
In fact, we had a student the other day who literally said she doubled her picking speed with one little tweak. There's one of the videos and one of the courses that we have specifically on how to hold the pick. She said one of the little tweaks, one of the little insights in that video, she said literally doubled her picking speed instantly.